Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the India Market Review for 12th of March 2016. We're doing this on a Saturday. Normally, we do this on a Friday. And if you've been a regular with us on our IMRs, then you know that last week's IMR was very profitable, and the markets did quite a bit of stuff that we expected them to do. And anyone who had done that or followed any of those views, you certainly would have made money. And with that happy week gone by, the focus this week is basically on finding any more buying opportunities, what are they in the market, and where should we be focusing. So in the last IMR, we focused in two spaces, metals and pharma. So what I want to do, so unlike the usual IMRs where we do, all the nifty stocks or the nifty junior stocks, this time we found two sectors which were really looking strong. We analyzed them in detail across MCAP, market cap categories, large caps, mid caps, small caps, and basically focus on the FNO stocks. And as you well know, they have done extremely well. What I want to do today is basically follow the same approach instead of going across all sectors unless some compelling reason tells us to. We'll look at maybe just one or two sectors and see if we can find some really good opportunities like we did last weekend. And before that, I just want to very, very quickly review the pharma and metal picks that we had spoken about, see if they are still good opportunities, and then go on to finding new ones, right? Okay, so first things first, let's jump into the global markets and look at how they have actually been doing before we get into our Indian markets. So you should be looking at the chart of the S&P 500 on your screen, and yesterday, or rather Friday, has been an excellent week for the global markets. So we had closed, of course, at 330, and then crude oil went up, and a lot of the market activities right now are very much linked to how crude oil is behaving. And as you can see, we did a very, very healthy 1.64% up move on the S&P 500 on Friday close. One of the advantages of doing the IMR on Saturday is you then have full global data, and that really helps, right? And as you can see, it's broken out through important resistance zone, the S&P 500, and the way it has gone up with a nice, very strong Marubozu candle, we should expect up moves to follow in the US market. Before jumping to conclusions, let's look at some other stuff. We look at the Dow Jones index, and that's also gone up very strongly. What's particularly interesting about the Dow Jones index is that again, you have a Marubozu candle and all that, but let me just, yeah, I'm just taking it to the weekly format. It's, it could easily be on its way to make new life highs. So if you look at the entire picture, this is from 2007-8 crash included, and that line there on the top, maybe I'll just make it my color for this. This is one crazy tool. Come on. Yeah. All right, is the green, and that's the life high. And the way it is doing that with strong support, double support across 2015, 2016, it's quite possible that the Dow Jones is on its way to a new fresh life high, and which makes it go up about 1,000 points from here, less than 10%. Of course, not. I don't expect that next week, but you never know, and that's going to be a big boost for the global markets. So keep that in mind. So you have that on the daily chart. If you look at the FTSE, Then very interestingly, again, the FTSE, the European markets have all gone up. And what I just sometimes just love about technical analysis is this stuff. So downtrend line, FTSE broke out of that, came down. The Thursday was a bad day, came to that support, and on Friday we just took off. And this downtrend line has been there for quite a long time. Of course, some of us are going to say coincidence. The downtrend line just happened to be at the right place at the right time. Sure, I'm not going to disagree. But on the other hand, if you can get a better fit line than what has been drawn from middle of last year to now, then I would be happy to, you know, enter into a debate. Okay, so that's FTSE. Looking at the DAX, Germany, and DAX broke out of the downtrend long time back, went through the green line, which is around 9,500. The white horizontal resistance 9,500, went up, hit resistance at 10,000 psychological mark, came down, support, tested, and then has gone back up. So turning out to look like a not a really a perfect one, but a sort of flag. And if it breaks to 10,000, then we are after 10,600, 10,800 on the uh, markets as far as DAX is concerned, and that should again be a big plus. Okay, so Europe, and of course, if you want to look, you can look at the CAC also. More for the sake of completion, and not necessarily the best index to track, but yeah, sure. Okay, so there you have the long-term downtrend. Just to bring it back to the usual colors. All right, okay, and it's also gone up. So across the board, whether it's US or Europe, you're seeing a nice up move on Friday after our markets closed. So which basically should mean that our market should also do really well on Monday. Okay, and so if we come to the Indian markets, then you've got the Nifty should be showing up on your screen. It had just paused at that trend line on Friday. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay, so if you just focus on where the cursor is, paused at the downtrend line, and now it is between the 50-day moving average at the bottom and the 100-day moving average at the top. In between, good support and resistance, that's around 7,400, and that's at 7,600, and midway there. Um, Given what's happened with the global markets, fully expect that this could just shoot up, maybe gap up on Monday morning. So it's going to be a tough day for traders to get in. If you're already a good long-term investor and you've got some money in, you should be a happy person in 48 hours on 9:15 Monday morning. Having said that, of course, anything can happen in the world. North Korea is threatening all sorts of annihilation, etc. Who knows who will escalate what, and suddenly things can change in the world. So that's something to be kept in mind. But all said and done, given what we have the situation now and looking at the charts, things are looking quite bullish. And this, what we are seeing here right now, given the context of the global markets, really not classical, but could be construed as a flag, and I'm just wondering if that is the case. Well, from 6.9 to sort of 7.5, that's a 700-point up move. Are we going to get another 700-point up move, which means 8,200 thereabouts there, and who knows what will happen after that. The government's also been making a lot of noises about policy changes, about NPA management. There was a very good interview with Jaitley and Raghuram Rajan gave a very good speech today at an IMF conference. In case you missed it, I would strongly recommend that you watch that. There must be some YouTube video somewhere, and it could give you perspective for the macroeconomic picture globally and in India. Okay, so 8,200, who knows, it is a possibility, and Monday a gap up is distinctly possible. So with that, let's do our usual thing of looking at sector indices. So looking at the bank nifty, that's also very much looking like a flag now. Okay, even more convincing. And if the markets like what is being discussed as far as um, you know, NPA, banking reform, consolidation, etc. is concerned, then this is another flag, and who knows, we go towards another 1,500 points up on the bank nifty, at least till 16, 16 and a half, maybe even 17,000. Not on Monday, of course, but in the coming uh, you know a few weeks is distinctly possible. Then CNX Energy, so that's definitely sort of a laggard, uh, not actually. Struggling to go through those long-term moving averages. It probably will get through on Monday. The sentiment is, I expect, going to be quite bullish. And if it crosses 8,400, then energy is definitely something to invest into. FMCG, so we had mentioned FMCG last time. If you remember, we talked about a flag on FMCG. Looks like the flag broke out on Friday itself, and the boost on Monday should just make the market go up. Can't help but comment about how many times we've said just TA, TA, TA. This cause and effect is really not cause and effect. All this news came out today, but who knows? Who knew that the global markets were going to jump 1 to 2% on Friday, or that crude oil was going to jump? But the charts had made these patterns, and if you had the faith in that, then well, all set to make quite a lot of money. Next, infra. So infra also sitting there looking like, okay, if not a flag, all this what I'd all drawn so far and what I will draw, if not a flag, they are just at least good consolidations for a week or so, and then after that the next up move. And in this case, in infra and in the case of energy, you have the downtrend moves, which are downtrend lines which are still not broken out, and as and when they break out, which is looks like more matter of time than anything else, you're going to see even better up moves develop, and they'll give you, the trend will become stronger. CNX IT, okay, so it's one of those indices which is not very far from its life high. Bit of a correction last week, and um, there was news about block deals in Infi, etc. But again, technically looking quite okay, and could easily move up again. It's got all those bunch of long-term moving averages which are going to act as resistances all the way to 11,200. But once that breaks out, that 11,700, 11,800 is a distinct possibility, which is a good 7-8% up move on the CNX IT. Then pharma. All right, so pharma is looking extremely well. Also, pharma is not far from its life high, just like CNX IT. But this is actually CNX pharma. This is from the NSC, and that data is only from 2012. If it's very quickly jump to the BSC healthcare index, yeah. Okay, that is, oh, that's from 2000, and that's also close to its life high. All right, okay, so just, okay, right. So healthcare, or whether it is CNX pharma, let's go back to that. Poised for further up moves for sure. A triple bottom at 11,000, and moving up. Once it goes through the 200-day moving averages there, you're going to definitely see much higher moves on pharma. Okay, then oh, okay, I should have done this. Let me do Bank Nifty again, and we had mentioned a flag type formation, and then I want to just compare that with CNX PSU Bank. Okay, and if you look at the PSU Bank, well, very much the same, I would say, and definitely a flag there, and okay, so that is a move from about 2000 to 2400, another 400 points from 23 to 400 to 7, which is where the cursor is right now, right? So that's definitely a possibility, no doubt about that. So farm PSU banks looking good. Next, moving on to Realty, or BSE Realty rather, and in that looking, it's moved from its live low about 1,000, made a big gravestone doji on Friday. So some selling pressure is most certainly there. Question is whether the bulls can re-establish control. The thing is it's gone through resistance zone 1,160, and if I were to just take another level, then somewhere there is where, of course, you have got all these long-term moving averages going down, and they're going to definitely provide some resistance. But 1,450, which is a good, what, 300 points, means about 30% up move. That's a massive move. It's already moved 17% from its lows. 30% up move in reality was going to, wow, it's going to be really, really, really something. And if that's all it does for the whole year, that would really be something fantastic, right? So yeah, so 1,450, and mm, I'm just a little stunned at the amount of up move that could happen from these levels. That's really, really impressive. So okay, maybe that's the place we should look at today, realty side. Yeah, before we jump to conclusions, let's look at auto. So autos also looking good. All those moving averages sitting there waiting to be broken out. No doubt about that. And everything looking good on the indicator side too. So that should go up. Then you've got consumer durables, and okay, nothing particularly great. Okay, capital goods. This is very interesting because it is just sitting exactly there uh, at the downtrend. Okay, and if this is indicating that it's going to come out of the downtrend with a very, very good double bottom in place at around 11,000, and once it breaks that, so if you're looking for some bottom picking, technically speaking at least, then this could really be something worth looking at. That's the capital goods space. And then we have to look at metals. Okay, so this is what happened last week. So we had already spoken about metals. This was a nice head and shoulder or multiple head and shoulder bottom. Broke out of the neckline at what level, around 7,000, and then 7,000 to 7,400, 7,500 almost, and that's a clear 5% up move, and that too on very strong green candles. But this move may not be over. We could get a much, much bigger move, because at least historically speaking, uh, we are at what, 30% or less of its life peak, and just imagine if it goes back all the way back up, how much it could money this could make. But of course, that's a multi-year view, not a uh, not even this year. But still, that's good. So stuff is still left in both metal and pharma that we focused on last week. Okay, so one should really, since we want to go sector-wise in this IMR also, I would definitely recommend that those who are interested should review last week's IMR and look at the specific discussions that we had on the metal stocks and the pharma stocks. All right. Okay. So what I want to do now is I think we identified. I would like to again go back to. There's a whole set of choices. I mean, you can either look at underdogs, things like capital goods, right, which are possibly coming out of the downtrend until they conclusively do so. Just say possibly, and the other place is I think which one was that? Power? No, reality, right? These were the two. So we can look at reality and capital goods today. I think that's what we will do. But on the other hand, if you're interested in say capital goods, not capital goods, strong ones, then you should look at the IT space. Okay, not very far from its life high, though it's just about 10%, and the FMCG space, right, which is also not too far from its high life high, about around 10%. So these are the two places if you're looking for strength. If you're looking for underdogs, then it's capital goods and um, reality, right? So since we looked at underdogs last time, metals and mm, pharma, let's stay with the theme and let's find our realty and FMCGs, not realty and capital goods stocks. Okay. Okay. So let me just get my list up. Okay. So capital goods and realty stocks. That's our find for this week. Not that others are not good, just this is when you just have to be in the market and really find some great opportunities. So here we go. uh, L&T, so this is where L&T is the good one to start with as far as capital goods is concerned. That's the prime leader in the L&T, in the the capital goods space. So if you look at the long-term charts of L&T, one thing is pretty interesting, which is that it has come to a level, if you just follow the cursor in the middle of the screen, which is basically the tops of the 2009, 10, 11 zone, and then again mid 2012, and then the top in 2011, 2012, then a top in 2013. So this is like a very, very significant multi-year support zone as far as L&T is concerned. Okay, and that makes this an extremely important level, which if breaks, then of course anything is possible, but such strong supports do not break easily. And if you're talking about a recovery in the markets, then we've got definitely some significant upside possibly developing in L&T. Now, one of the things that you can see here is that the whole of this year it has just gone down once in a week, and then it has basically been building strength on the upside. The volumes are definitely encouraging. The upside volume is good, the downside volume is really bad. And what's very encouraging right now is you've got a MACD crossover on the weekly chart, and the indicators are looking healthy. So a possible significant upside on L&T is developing. When I come to the daily charts, it's looking you know quite healthy and positive, and you can see that it's probably formed a flag, I would say. Right, so moved out of that resistance zone at around 1175, and then closed at 1185, an up move from about 1050 to 1200, about 150 bucks sideways. You can see the volumes have contracted. Another 100-150 up move on LNT is distinctly possible. In addition to that, you've got all these long-term moving averages sitting right up there, and it will most definitely, go through that in the coming weeks is what I expect. So every dip on LNT should be used for buying, and from here to its life high of 1900 is about a 50% up move, and then after that we could see much bigger moves, right? So that's LNT. And then we've got Bharat Forge. So Bharat Forge coming out of what shall we say, or let me just reset that, rounding bottom quite possibly, and has definitely broken down through the worst or the most extreme downtrend line that I can put. It's not done that on volumes particularly, which is something that I like to see. But yeah, on the weekly chart again, you can see that it's coming off a very important multi-year level. So going back to daily, again looking like a flag. There's a resistance level very clearly there at 830. Once 830 crosses on Bharat Forge, then another, who knows what, 50 bucks, 880, 900. That's where the 200-day moving average is sitting very nicely. So should go there quite possibly in the coming 1 or 2 weeks. So Bharat Forge also looking good. Siemens, okay. Siemens, well, a little surprising because it hasn't broken out. LNT did, Bharat Forge did. I guess maybe there are others waiting to break out. It's at a psychological mark of 1000 if you notice, right? Sitting there very nicely. And again at wow, right, 2007 top. And this is another good place to put your money in. Technically, it's looking, I would say, quite solid. I haven't done a detailed weekly analysis of this. Okay. Hmm. So it's definitely waiting to break out. You've got good volumes, consolidation patterns going on. Once it goes beyond 1050, 1060, then you should see a big up move to 1125, 1175. No point even talking about stop losses in situations like this, I think, because it's just looking so good. Okay, Voltas. This is interesting. Friday, it gave a very nice Marubozu candle on good volumes, and then you had this huge fall early Feb. So just wondering, it makes my mind wonder what is going on. That's all, nothing else. Right. So again, this is not really fallen much from its life high. That's a good thing. Ah, so we are at the 2000, 2007, 2010 peak double bottom. It did break that, of course. That's pretty obvious. Should put that on the default layer. And then, okay. This is a very good picture. Uh, Definitely buy some underdog performance on this. There's no doubt about that. It's consolidated for a week. Friday it should just shoot up on Monday, and then still be a buy on dips. And I would say at least 280, and then who knows, 300 and back to its life highs. This is interesting because I guess one of the reasons the index itself has been beaten down so much is because of LNT falling so much, but Voltas, relatively speaking, has really not fallen. Just remind me to do a relative strength analysis at the end of this capital goods section. Then we'll see if we can find something nice. Okay, so Voltas is definitely looking good. Crompton Greaves, whoa. So, this is just textbook stuff. This is just really, really textbook stuff. And I don't know if you've missed the opportunity. So you have this huge gap down on Crompton Greaves, which was basically on account of bad results by the company. The CEO also quit instantly on that day. Stock tanked to about 120, formed a nice base there over like 3 weeks, and then from 120 it's gone back and it just stopped at that gap low, and it's consolidated. And if you look at the volumes, it started to go up on really good volumes, going down on low volumes, and just a matter of time that this breaks out. It might do that on Monday, and when it goes back, 165 is where it is, and just from where it is right now, 145, 146 to 165, that itself is a 7, 8, 9% up move. So this is looking good. The other story on Crompton Greaves to know is that it's going to get demerged into two companies this month, not this month, this year. The High Court permission has come through. Crompton Greaves retail stuff, and then Crompton Greaves heavy engineering or something. Uh, could be unlocking of value that could happen at that time when that happens. So it might be a good stock to buy from a long-term portfolio perspective, but not everything. It's not necessary you've got to buy it right now, but that's a long-term fundamental event that you got to keep in mind for the stock this year. Engineers India, okay, mostly a Government of India company. Okay, looking at the long-term picture here on this, clearly, if you don't see many lines on it, then it's not a company that I would have studied a lot. Let's see if wow, this is interesting because this is coming to 2006, 7, 13 level. That of course is just coming to a level does not guarantee anything, but just saying something to keep in mind. Okay, let's go back to daily and let's get volume. Whoa. Not entirely convinced on this, but might come back to about 145, and that might be a good time to buy it. Or on the other hand, the biggest downside might actually be over. I would let this skip because I think we've already got some really good ones in the previous ones we discussed. There's no need to take additional. If it's not, just obvious to buy, you shouldn't buy it. Just wait for a good picture. Okay, BEML. Moving on. Okay. This one. Okay, it's come to some support, which is again of a multi-year nature. Only thing is, downtrend might be quite strong. Wouldn't be too much of a hurry to buy it. Really not showing strength in the indicators. And if I were to put a downtrend line, then that's where we would be. Okay, but what? One second. Hmm. A double, triple bottom on BEML. Okay, 1000. 1000 really doesn't seem to be a particularly important psychological level for this in the past. Or well, it came here. Look at the low here. It came to 999.25 and then just shot up. Okay, for one thing, it has done is that it has cleared this resistance zone, and it's done that on not very good volumes, and you've got this whole bunch of at 1100 double triple resistances sitting there, and if it breaks that, then definitely much higher levels of 1300 are possible. Mhm. Just want to mark this level also, which is important in the future, and that is 1200. So from where we are today, 1035, 1200 itself will be almost a 20% move. It will come with some hesitation, but it will come. Okay. BHEL, wow, what happened? This is like it's falling off a cliff, quite literally. This the what the slope gets just steeper and steeper and is almost becoming vertical. 300 rupee stock became a 100 rupee stock in 4 5 months. Whoa, it's a good lesson, in terms of if you don't manage risk, what can go wrong. Even if you're a good long-term investor, your 500 rupee stock, I think this should serve a good lesson for anybody who's like sleeping on their portfolio. You can say great stuff. By the way, another good thing, textbook, I would say, is this triple top at 280. Did a nice one, and uh, okay, some good interesting education here. So please note the triple top there with that vertical line. Okay, and that's the other one, and then that's the other one. And I want us to just so you have got a triple top, just notice this. I'll make it bigger. That's the MACD, and see how obvious the divergence is. Right, the negative divergence. It is massive, right? Nice thing that you can do in Ami broker stuff like this, just to hit home. You wouldn't have seen it in the smaller chart, and from 20 it's fallen to 4. That's a big fall, and here the divergence doesn't look so you know important, does it? But if I go back to this, then it's very obvious. Okay. Now the problem is that with the intensity of the fall the way it is, I would really like to back this up with any more research on fundamental side events and all. Just me, all right? But anybody who's comfortable taking a risk and sticking your neck out, it actually is at a pretty good, um, what would I say, psychological come resistance support level, sorry, of 100. Okay, and what's more on that, by the way, I should have mentioned the previous charts you were seeing were weekly. What's more is that on the daily charts that you're seeing here, you are getting a bullish divergence. So if I look at the RSI there, why do I put myself through all this? I can just make it big. Okay, so there you have it, and that's the RSI. Uh, it has gone down here, it's gone up there though. Okay, so that's the point I'm talking about. And if you go back and look at the chart, you will see that it has actually gone much lower and the RSI has gone up. And what's also very healthy is this very good volume towards the end. and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is consolidation, right? If you're looking for potential technical multi-bagger, right, then this is BHEL for you. If it goes back to 300 rupees, and please note that in 2013-14 it went from 100 to 300. If it does that, you've made 300% on a stock which is what, a large cap, mid cap stock, an FNO stock. So if you're good, you are possibly salivating at this opportunity, right? Spot wise and FNO wise, this could make you a fortune. Just have to look at I would love to see more. I mean, it's if you're, like I was just saying, sorry for the repetition, if you can just put your heart and soul on these lines, and then I would say definitely buy some decent quantity of BHEL. If you need more, and you want to get into the whys and all, spend this weekend after this IMR reading up about BHEL, get research reports, get FA data, something the mentorship guys should definitely do. And this could be the one find that you find this year, and that will be absolutely okay. Okay, so this is cool. This definitely deserves much more study. Okay. Yeah, so I just switched to monthly because here's the thing. I mean, the monthly does not really suggest that all troubles are over indicators wise or candlesticks wise, but that's the nature of the game, isn't it? If you're waiting for monthly confirmation, then by the time weekly has to go up 10-20%, then it'll come on monthly. But daily has already given a hint that that down move may be over, right? So there's always this dilemma between getting in early with higher risk versus getting in late after the move is done. Okay, so BHEL might be the pick of this week. BEL, oh, again, wow, this surprise because, oh God, I hate this. This software is sometimes just on pain. These buttons are, I have to get that chat back one sec. Okay, so BL on a very, very long-term monthly chart is what you're seeing here. And that's the 2007-2010 double top, which it broke out in 2014, right? Wow. Okay. I want to change the color. And that's the life high. So about the 1400 is where it went to, and from there it's corrected to 1086 as we speak. That's a pretty good correction, and technically it's come to a place where you've got some goods, 1000 rupees, right, is acting as a good support level. Okay, so you can see psychological levels in play here for the last 2 years, 2015, 2016. If I go to weekly, let me God. Okay, I go to weekly, we've got that, and if I go to daily and zoom in this time, you can see basically a massive what do you say, sideways consolidation between 2015, 2016. Let me go back to weekly and put the volumes, and wow, this is interesting. You also have lower volumes that are there across 2015, 2016. You've got that. All right, and at some point, again, please note you're looking at weekly charts. At some point it will break out, and then 400 rupees, 1400 plus 400, 1800, you're talking about an 80% up move from here. That's BEL for you, right? Again, would be nice to back it up with fundamental stuff, but that really doesn't matter. So 1,000, good psychological number, good stop loss. With a chart like this, you're really not going to be able to say too much right now because it's been consolidating for 2 years, and just go with simple TA, buy stop loss below 1,000, and especially on a spot thing, this is probably a good place to enter, right? So you've gone up 1,100, and if it breaks 1,000, then you're off, and not really a flag, but yeah, it could be another 100 rupees just on the flag, but then there's a big consolidation. The big picture is 1,350, and then after that. So yep, BEL would be the other pick of uh, you know the capital goods stocks. If I have to, yikes, didn't make notes. One sec. Okay, just putting down stuff for this week. BEL, which one was that? BHEL, right? Yep. Why is it suddenly looking different? Oops. And then of course we have our L&T, and what else? L&T, Bharat Forge, Siemens, Voltas, Crompton Greaves, leave engineers India out, right? So that was the thing. And these are all F&O stocks. Okay. Yeah. So the whole capital goods pack there. Now you will have the problem of how to figure out to distribute your investments across this entire thing. Okay. So done. So we're done with capital goods. Of course, there are other stocks, but they're not in the F&O. And then when we do the mentorship review, maybe we'll get into more. And I'm wondering, we're going to just find too many opportunities, and you're going to curse not having enough money. Okay. Next is real estate, realty. We've got about 7-8 stocks here. Good. So this is DLF, and this is DLF monthly. It is really scraping the bottom in terms of being really at its life low, quite literally. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but you can only feel for the KP Singh of this company. The stock was 1,200 rupees. That's a 100 rupee stock now. What a tremendous fall and loss of wealth. But such is life, and that is things to learn from. That if things go bad, things can really go bad. It can take over a generation to recover, if one recovers. Okay, so I have never seen this, and I guess clicking this button was a big blessing in disguise. But that's a falling wedge, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 years in duration, and I'm just wondering what the hell is in store next. Volume is not suggesting anything, neither are the indicators suggesting anything, but if this is a falling wedge, and I don't see why it isn't, then this could, the upside of any falling wedge is huge, right? Time to revise your Doe theory, guys. Please read Maggie or come for the next Doe theory course. So if this actually does happen, I mean, what I mean by that is the uh, revision of the breakout of that falling wedge then the stock, for all I care, could go back easily at the very least to 300 rupees. So that's another 3x bagger, and maybe 400, 500. Let it take 5 years to do that. That's fine. Okay, it could still very well do that. Coming to monthly charts, or rather daily. Okay, it is going to be slow and painful because all my lines have disappeared, but okay, we'll just do it quickly and look at the shorter term. All right, so here we have big up moves, and there's another flag there that you can see on you know BHE, sorry, DLF. That's a clear flag. That's a very, very clear flag. By the way, since nobody was using it, it stopped going out. There's the DMRs. This is for the mentorship guys. The DMRs, you remember the daily market report? Well, that also for yesterday was showing DLF as a good strong flag. So from 85 to 110, that's 15 rupees. That's good 20%, please note. And if you get another 15 rupees goes to 130, you're talking about a 20% move, and almost a 40-50% move from its lows at around 85, right? And the move is already substantial, but could actually be a lot more in the months and years ahead. So this looks like a good long-term turnaround to me, right? And again, good time to do some good strong FA stuff on this. Okay, right. So that is DLF, certainly a buy. Okay, I just stop loss for the flag. I don't think I need to say anything. I'm sure you can figure it out. So I'm not going to even mention it. But you know what? 100 rupees is just below that, and just watch out. It's a very important psychological level, and you never know. It could just sit there for some time. So don't ignore. The problem is, even if it comes down, it hits your stop loss. It could easily just turn around another week or month later, and then you'll be wondering why the hell you got out. So that's DLF and Unitech. Okay, let's go back to monthly. Whoa, 500 rupees stock is now 5 rupees 45 paisa, 1% of its peak. 1% of its peak price. Okay, I have no words for this. I've only read stuff, like this, but my fault that I didn't do long-term analysis like this. This is certainly turning out to be a very different IMR. Well, I should probably send a thank you mail to that guy who created AMI Broker. This is a blessing. The design fault is a great blessing in disguise. Wouldn't have done this definitely otherwise. Okay, and then that's okay. Not the best line, but even if I put another one, say from there, yeah, that's much better. All right. So that's also looking, and you can see the tapering volume in the last 2015, 2016, the whole almost 1 year. Okay, and at some point this could just burst out. It's already gone from 4 rupees to 5 rupees 55 paisa. It's a penny stock. It's still in FNO. Just imagine, I think lot size is some crazy 35,000 or 40,000 and all. Anybody has got cuts, you could make your year's salary on this doing FNO in maybe a month, right? But you might also take a 4-month, 6-month pay cut if things go bad, and that's event risk for you. That's the nature of opportunities we are sitting on right now. Okay, right. Weekly chart looking like a tower bottom. Okay, that's really interesting. And if the tower bottom clears 8 rupees, then we've got definitely much more coming up in store. So you should watch out for that. 1 second. Okay, so hmm, actually, my mind is going blank. I've never seen opportunities in quotes. Not I would. Okay, I just should be careful what I say. Won't say opportunities, but charts this way, that to FNO, and I'm wondering whether you're looking at once in a lifetime opportunity here or once in a lifetime dud. I can't make up my mind. Anybody has any inputs to add for that? Or please feel free to you know add any views. And this is where I think doing some collaborative stuff would make a huge difference. Hmm. And yeah, forget it. Let's go on. So definitely a good buy. Please note it's already gone from 4 below to almost 6. That's a 50% up move. If it goes from 6 to 8, it's a 30% up move. This is just the nonsense of numbers. Imagine if it just goes back to 16 or 20 rupees, you're sitting on another multi-bagger there, right? And let that happen. Like I'm saying, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I don't know, but you could be sitting on. Wow. Phew, this is just too much. Okay, GMR Infra. So I think that won the case with the Maldivian government some time back, and they're supposed to get some few $100 million or something like that. I'm not sure. Okay, so monthly chart on GMR, the stock was 120 once and is now 11 rupees, so 10% of its previous value. Uh, Again, probably forming a very okay. At least this one. Okay, this is not a tweezers bottom, but it's almost there. 10 rupees seems to be a pretty good place right now for the stock. Okay, looks very very unlikely that it's going to uh, break that. Okay, though the lows are actually 980, 980. 975. Okay, let me just 9.8. Should have checked that earlier. Okay, so this is live flows. So we shall mark that way. Still coming down on high volumes, though here the volumes have definitely tapered, but you never know. The volumes did pick up again here. Yuck, so I just hit that color. And there's no volume picture. We're still in monthly. Weekly also no good volume. Okay, last week was good. This week a hesitation. Interesting. All right, have to say that if you're willing to take the risk, this is another, possibly a good opportunity. uh, hmm. Put a stop loss below 10 rupees, 9 rupees 50 paisa. If you're willing to take a 15% hit, and if this all goes well, you could also be looking at 100% return maybe by the end of the year, right? uh, I'm not sure how this real estate bill that was passed is affecting the stocks. Okay, but hmm, okay, so even if it goes to 15 rupees, that's an important resistance. And then the next one will be at 20 rupees. Okay, you're talking about a 50 to 100%, 80, 90% return on these stocks. Okay. Hmm. Kundu is saying you can accumulate with SIP and some stop loss. Yeah, sure, you could do that. Whatever works. Uh, since these are all really long-term investments we're talking about. Um, so each one has to decide what really works well for each. So this is okay. This is also looking good. Might be a small flag there, and then JP Associates. So let's do the same thing. So this stock, which was once a 350 rupee stock, is now 7 rupees 50 paisa. Okay, the thing is, this is definitely not put a bottom in place, which is substantial. Right, it is still could easily just fall down, and if 7 rupees 50 paisa goes to 5 rupees, let's say, which could easily happen, then you're sitting on another just big loss there. 1 2 3 4 5. Just wondering whether there's some Elliott wave stuff here. Okay, I would rather skip this because this, in retrospect, might come back one day, when days a few months from now, and say we saw the life low almost at 755 and should have bought, but that's okay. The important thing is to manage risk. Forget about profits. Take care of your risks, and the profits will take care of themselves. Okay. That company is, of course, also highly indebted. Not that others are not, but still. IB Real Estate, so another stock, 800 rupees is at 52. Well, that's definitely looking more respectable, isn't it? Okay. It is. This seems to definitely have put a good long-term bottom in place. Right? This is nice. This is nice. This is the low, and the low here was 40 rupees. Okay, exactly 40 rupees, and it has never come there, and it has never come there 12, 13, 14, 15. 3 years it has not come back to 40 bucks, though it's come very close to that here at 41, and it went in the meantime to 100, and 100 came to 41. It's definitely putting a multi-year bottom in place here. There's no doubt about that. And if it goes up, then we are looking at from here, could easily be looking at 50. Suddenly 50% doesn't sound very good with all the other stuff that we saw earlier, but still extremely good supports. Okay, even at 40, 45. So, and we are close to that support. Okay, and in the all right, so looking at volumes now, please note how volumes really picked up here. Okay, this is in 2014, middle line 2014, and then came down and the volumes really tapered off, and then again somewhere here in mid 2015 the volumes have again went up. Please note you're looking at the weekly candle. Went up again. When it came down here, it shot up to about, when it came to 45, and this time, however, the volumes are really not that great, but around 45 there seems to be a lot of accumulation that is going on in this stock, and from here going to 70, 85 and higher levels is a very, very distinct possibility. Okay, let's put 100. I would definitely recommend buying this. This has multi-year supports. That's one very, very important thing I would say. And okay, so this stuff I evolve as I do stuff. So yellow means multi-year. That's it, right? Doesn't have to be support or resistance, but yellow means multi-year for me. Okay. Yep. Go ahead. Buy IB real estate. Some fireworks are going on as I'm saying this. I don't know whether it's an auspicious sign. don't have any idea, but yep. IRB, IRB. This is done very, very well, hasn't it? Relatively speaking, the stock has gone from 50, stuck at 250 for 2 years, and this is the whole chart, not gone past its life high. In terms of relative performance, this is doing extremely well. This was a stock that got listed much later in the real estate space, and I think what they basically avoided was the massive leveraging that the earlier companies had done, and the market has rewarded them, I would say. If you got things like P ratios for this, it would be something really nice to do, because that would tell us if the P ratio for this is much higher than the other ones that we've seen, DLF, Unitech, GMR and all, then you simply know that the market likes the stock. And for all you know, when the bullishness comes back, the stock could actually do much better. This might be the Unitech or DLF of the future and go up 4-5x times. Those could also, but think about it. And I think I definitely spoiled for choice in this session. Okay. uh, 200 rupees, very good support. As you can see, again, multi-year stuff there, and you're not very far from that. Now you have to decide whether you want to basically buy strength or you want to buy the underdog. Right? That's one constant dilemma. um, Underdogs, if they do well, can give you amazing returns, but on the other hand, strength is strength, and it's always better to be with the leader, be with the where the action is. uh, just a question of, I think, personal preferences. Okay, wanted that. Volumes have really dried up, as you can see, in the last 2 years. Really low volumes after a big surge in end of 2013 and some of 2014. Something major consolidation going on. Look at the MACD. And this is, if I make it monthly, MACD is very bullish. And if I look at weekly, it's hovering around that zero thing, because the market hasn't really done anything. And once it decides to go up, this will turn up decisively. If we look at daily, again, look at volumes going up on lower volumes, going up on higher volumes, going down on lower volumes. So that's a good sign. Multiple resistances. I don't even want to get into those resistance zones, and there are so many of those levels. You're just going to um, get eye strain putting all those levels. The thing, I think, is just to buy it as close to 200 as possible as you can, luckily get, and then just hold on. Okay, why did that? All right, right. If you can get it at 200, just jump in. Put a stop loss at around 190. But here's the thing: it could just go down and then again just shoot back up. You never know. Okay. So that is IRB, Nagarjuna Constructions. All right. So Nagarjuna Constructions also looking quite healthy compared to many of the others. Looks like 10 is a nice psychological bottom for this stock. Also close to its life low, if not the life low. Nice flag there, all of 2014. 60 rupees seems to be a nice, definitely a 60 rupees is a price. 55.60, definitely a price to watch out. good support. You can put a stop loss. Okay, here's the problem. If you put a stop loss around 50, you could just come there, 50 rupees psychological number and bounce off. On the other hand, where is it? Looking at volumes. See all, big up move in volumes in 2014, sideways move, then again a big up move in end of 2014, again in 2015, and hopefully this is just consolidation going on. Okay, and quite possibly we might have a downtrend which is conclusively over. So let me put all right. Leave that. All right, so downtrend is not yet over, but 170 breaks, I think you'll have to really consider this strongly as a potential buy. Okay, yep, could go back to 100. 100 is another good psychological number to keep in mind. Okay, that's not a great upside from these levels, so I think given what we have found elsewhere, this may not be such a good thing in terms of return, and you may want to pass that simply because of that, but technically it's fine, right? So that's technical versus a profit call that you have to take. HDIL, okay, this is okay. So one thing about HDIL is very clearly that it has gone off its life lows and has stayed above that for a considerable period of time, right? Uh, and its life low was there. So let's see what that number actually is. That is the life low, and the life low is 29.5. Okay, so 29.50, I should put that. Hey, sorry, what was that? 26.50, is it? 26.1. What was I reading? 26.1. All right. Okay. So that was in the middle of 2013, and it has never gone to those levels before. So unlike some of the other stocks we discussed earlier, which you created life lows in the last few weeks or months, etc., this one has stayed just like NCC and NCC and IRB. It has definitely stayed much higher. So that's a good sign, and it's at definitely a multi-year support, so that's another thing to consider. And then we've got, all right, so it's perhaps forming a base for it to move up from. Can't be sure right now, but definitely I would say, the volumes have picked up of late in the last 3-4 months. Tough to read which side and what the volumes are suggesting. Let me see if these were some other studies I put. Mm, Okay, on its own. Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, so this is the daily chart. I was looking at the weekly till then. Uh, sort of slipped my mind. Okay, I need to make this. Right, so here you clearly see a buildup of volume, right? Though the down volume is really not lower, but this could be a clue that the stock is set to move up, except that it could definitely go up and come down. So you're talking about 80 to 60, that's about a 25% loss. That's quite significant. But on the other hand, if it breaks across 80, then 100, and then 130 and all are very distinct possibilities to, I think, consider. And then you've got some good resistance at about 90 rupees. Okay, that's a place where it has really done a lot of drama. So we should watch out for that. So comparatively very strong compared to others, and a safe bet, I would say, a safer bet, but not going to be a multi-bagger one. Okay, so yep, that's it. So we've covered, I think, just good luck, good fortune. Somebody definitely woke up on the right side of the bed and prayed. I'm not saying it's me, that definitely not. So somebody is lucky in this group. So who do we have today? So the odd man out, I would say, is Sid. Sid, I don't know. You're the one bringing good luck today, I think, right, all the way from America. Thank you for being here. I haven't found such good ones, and all the fun and lessons we learned today on the session. So, uh, just for the sake of record, I have to do this LNT. So let's look at reality and okay, so DLF, Unitech, GMR Infra, right? I would say possible multi baggers over, I would say, 2 to 5 years. Okay, could happen faster, but fundamentally things are really not getting well that fast. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. And then we've got things like IRB, NCC, and HDIL for those who like strength. Okay, more reliable, good SLs there. Very close to their life lows, may go up a lot. This one are well off their life lows in time and price, hence have good relative strength. Okay, so that's the summary of, and really anything and everything, I think, is looking good. Right, so just we'll finish that. Voltas, Crompton Greaves. Okay, yep, that's it. Are there any questions for today? Would be happy to take them. Anyone trying to do some investments, if not trades, next week? think about it. I think you've got your Sunday cut out in terms of trying to figure out where to deploy your money with all this uh, excellent choice. Please don't ignore event risk. I know I've been probably quite enthusiastic in my talk today, but that doesn't mean risk has gone. Do keep that in mind that anything could happen. Again, North Korea is a case in example. Um, I don't know how often, if you've been looking at the US presidential elections, there's some crazy stuff happening there. People fighting at the convention now or at meetings. So Trump's meeting got called off. Obama's last few months are there. So there's a whole host of things that can go wrong, but that's always been the case, right? Just putting in plenty of a bucket of salt basically to and some cold water today after a very very what would I say hot session, just to temper things down and to remind us that risk is there. So don't get too overexcited. Think about what's been discussed. Put your stop loss. Do an SIP like Kundu said. And if you got the courage, then this could be, in of course in retrospect only you'll know, one of the best times to do good long-term lump sum investing, which would give you much better returns compared to SIPs, especially if you have the funds and you can manage um, your risks appropriately. Something like a IB account is just what you need at this time to really take care of a lot of those execution issues, right? So done. I'm going to end this session today here. Probably not going to sleep very well tonight. I will have the recording up hopefully in a few hours or by tomorrow, and the links will go across, right? So thank you very much. Wishing you all the very best. A very good Mokari Maka, and we'll catch up next week and see where we go from there, right? Thank you and have a great weekend. Bye.